Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to get started in just a little bit. We are talking hypergamy today. The topic came up a couple of times. There's some things going on in the news that I wanted to talk about real quick. So let's get into it. And I will be back in just a minute. We're going to get started shortly. Hit the like button on your way in. Welcome to Real Talk Bougie. And I am your host, Francoise. And you may know me from Love Lies and Lace Fronts, where we do reactions, reviews, and commentary on the YouTube channels you love to watch. Here we do reactions, hot topics, pop culture, all of those things. So, I'll be back in just a second.
How's it going, Big Dap?
Hey guys, how are you? What's going on? Thanks for everybody who came. Let's see, is this operating? Okay. Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you, everyone who's here. We've got some people in the bushes. We've got a few in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Cool Gamer. Hey, Jesse. Hey, Mysterious. What's going on? Guys, I thought this would be an interesting topic to cover because number one, I needed to come back and talk about Kim and Croy because we talked about it last week. And gosh, I'm already behind on Real Housewives, but that's okay. So today we were live on Love Lies and Lace Fronts, and we were talking about a particular situation. I know it's like a real head scratcher for a lot of people when we talk about a particular topic. There is a content creator who has been in a long-term relationship. Those of you who may or may not know and don't follow me on my other channel, there is a woman by the name of Keisha Kaylee who has a YouTube channel. She dates a guy. She's involved with a gentleman, a guy by the name of Jeremy Pastel. And they have three kids. They have three kids. He has four kids altogether, right? He's got a son from another lady. And ages are his son is right in the middle of a set of twins and a young a little girl. So, it made me think about hypergamy today because, hypergamy, whether we are conscious of it or not, it does play a factor because one of the first things that mom, auntie, grandma, your best friend is going to ask you if they know how you roll and you roll a particular way. They're either going to make the assumption that sir is in line with your trajectory. If your trajectory is up, they're going to just assume that you are on your level or better. Or if you are, one of the ones who are just used to dating bums, they're just like, I mean, like, girl, does he have a job? Does he have a this? Does he have a that? Does he have the basics? Okay. When you've established yourself with your social network as someone who has a reliable code as far as whom they date, yet people aren't going to really ask you that very much, right? Because the assumption is going to be always that they know how you operate. So if you find that people are always questioning, you know where you're at and who you're is who you're dating up to snuff, I mean, you might want to check. That says more. That's a you problem, right? Anyway, recently we've seen this situation in the news. We talked about it. Kim Zolciak and Croy Bierman, Kim Zolciak Bierman and her husband Croy. um Girl, they're in the middle of a very nasty divorce. And how did this come about? Well, we talked about this last week, and I stand true to this. I do believe that Kim is of that quality, of that. She's I'm not going to call her a gold digger, but I'm going to say she's a woman who you got to have some money, just like a Marjorie Harvey. I had someone come to me in my comments and ask me to speak on Marjorie Harvey. And yeah, why not? Right. Marjorie, we will talk about in just a minute. Marjorie is a very beautiful woman and she's with a very wealthy man. And I believe that in both of these cases, if these men had no money tomorrow, these women would be packing, as is the case with Croy. These two were doing quite well. Okay. Kim was on Real Housewives. She was making almost $1 million an episode. She had her own show by the time it was all said and done. Okay. Croy was a pretty decently paid Atlanta Falcon, but it's not always about money, guys. Sometimes it's about status, wealth, and influence. There's many things that make you high value. And I'm not talking about morals and integrity. I'm talking about worth. And I'm talking about like your actual your monetary worth, right? We can talk about morals and integrity and all of that stuff another time. Right now, we are talking hypergamy. And hypergamy does not go on feelings, boo boo. It goes on facts. Grandma back in the day, if your grandma or great great grandma was in an arranged marriage, trust me, it wasn't just looks, it was good family. Do they have the dowry? Do they have the bride price? Can they pay for the wedding? Does he have a good job? Thank you, Marlena. I appreciate that. It was a lot of things. The assumption is that you come from a good family. They go to church. Dad was a professional or owned a store. He was in shipping or whatever the case might be. That's that. Look, these men they didn't marry because homie had a long line of mentally fit individuals. Sometimes, unfortunately, women were married into very traumatic situations where people were mentally unstable, right? um I was just watching the latest episode of Queen Charlotte, okay? And Queen Charlotte got married to George, and girl, George dropped her off at her house and took off, and she didn't see him for I don't even know how long. Any of you guys who are watching Queen Charlotte, that is hypergamy personified, okay? But in today's world, we see a lot of hypergamy where we see a side chick become a Mrs. Hey, Jessica, good morning. Good afternoon. We see people get a title. This woman went from side chick to married woman of the Atlanta Falcons. And to some people, oh, that's not a big deal. To a lot of people, it is. So in her circle, where she operates, because remember, power and influence are only power and influence in the social networks that they have significance, right? You may not care. Like some people, rest in peace to the guy who, gosh, what was his name? Bob. Um, why'd I even bring up his name? The gentleman who passed away recently from Cash App. Um, I mean, I'm sure he had long pockets. He created Cash App amongst many other digital products, and Sir passed away. Very, gosh, in a horrible way, a stabbing on the street. Turns out a woman that he was dating. Her brother came for him because he got the impression that maybe he had taken advantage of her. I'm not really sure, and I hadn't been following the story on all of the details, but this man was quite wealthy. He had just gotten divorced. He's out here dating, and clearly he stepped out of his social circle in the sense that he was over to a woman's house whose brother was nuts and made the assumption that this man was trying to take advantage of her, maybe because of his wealth. I'm not really sure. But unfortunately, he was not traveling with security and things of that nature. Someone who is wealthy should, but a lot of these people can operate and navigate around undetected because people don't wear, hey, I'm a billionaire. People aren't wearing I'm a billionaire t-shirt, and the ones that are probably aren't, right? But Kim went from publicly being a side chick to very publicly claiming this man on a video where she was attending an event with Sheree, a social event, and he was paraded as an Atlanta Falcon. He was dancing, and she says, "Oh, cute butt." By the next year, sis was with him, pregnant, and planning a marriage. Okay. And it can happen that quickly. Women who are focused on marriage get married. Women who are focused on a screw, women who are focused on a good time, women who are focused on hooking up, women who are focused on not a relationship. That's exactly what you get. Not a relationship, not married, not. So if you want to be married, this message may be a little bit more for you. If you are trying to figure out like what's going on, this message might be for you too. Anyway, so Kim found herself married. Fast forward 10, 11 years later, retirement from football later, retirement check of around $200,000, $300,000 a year, not a month, a year. So he's making a let's say he's making a Silicon Valley, I don't know, director level paycheck, right? He's making a nice paycheck to go on a vacation once or twice a year, have a couple of nice cars, and live in the house that they had. Their house was an $800,000 home 10 years ago that they added a lot into. So the value, and of course, obviously, the value increased over years, but they were in a house that wasn't even $1 million, and they could have lived very comfortably. But there is gambling habit, there is designer clothes habit, there is spending money habit, there is keeping up with the Joneses habit. There is a lot of habits going on here that made this couple's overhead sus. Okay. So next thing you know, we're hearing in the press, in the paparazzi, TMZ, all of the things that this couple is in financial trouble, that there are some problems going on, X, Y, and Z. Kim is gone. Now, Croy allegedly, so it came out initially, Kim filed first. What happened is that Croy filed first, Kim filed too, and it got leaked. So people assumed, TMZ initially put it out that Kim filed first. Croy filed first. Kim did file, but he filed first. Okay. Now, that being said, at the end of the day, um, Croy is asking for custody of the children. They have 3 boys, 1 girl. He adopted her 2 children, all of that. Kim, we talked about this last week. I said she's probably already dating. For her to not when initially we heard and it was her, I just assumed, I was like, girl, she's already dating. She's not moving on without someone else. And she doesn't seem like the type that isn't working on another situation. But as it turns out, he filed against her, said the marriage is irretrievably damaged. And to me, they didn't say this, but the assumption is maybe there was some cheatation, there was some dishonesty going on, also squandering of marital funds, things of that nature. And a man who is on a budget, a man who is broke, a man who is having to watch his pennies because you've got a spendthrift for a wife. It's a lot, and she's not working. She's not working anymore. So she does her social media. She's probably getting paid a little bit per post, but with her appetite for Versace and Balmain and all of the things, everything designer, everything expensive, everything with a name, sis, that's the girl. One check is probably could be an outfit, even though she's not looking like it right now. But girl, we don't know what, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Anywho, let me show you guys this chart because I found this quite interesting. So, I'm showing. Okay. Let's look at this really quick. This is hypergamy in a chart. Okay. Actually, I found 2 and they're very similar, but I like this one better. This really illustrates hypergamy. At the end of the day, if you take all women and all men, and this is the source is powermoves.com, so you can go look this up. There was quite an interesting article regarding hypergamy. If you take, and I'm not going to dispute these numbers, I'm not going to get so much into the numbers, but we'll use the numbers because this is what they say, and this is maybe based on the research that they've done. But you take the bottom of the pyramid, right? So let's say based on earnings, education, potential, right? You're going to always see there's always going to be a meeting of some equals, right? From the bottom to the top, there's meetings of equals, right? From the bottom, they're going to be equals. And at the top, people are going to do mergers of equals. There's the stories of people who get married. Look at even though LeBron James, let's use LeBron James for an example, very high potential, getting out of school, high potential for the NBA. He's with his high school sweetheart. She's a beautiful woman. She wants to be a wife. She wants to be a devoted wife, mother, all of those things. These are 2 people who not necessarily came with nothing, but, just starting out in career. And they worked and built together to come from the bottom to the top. Bottom, high potential, top of the food chain, still at a very high potential, now wealthy, right? So that was a merger of equals. You could have, girl, 2 people in the ghetto get together, be happy, love each other, all of that. End up, look at George and Louise Jefferson on the Jeffersons. Girl, George got his dry cleaners. Next thing you know, they're moving to a New York apartment in the sky. He's got multiple dry cleaners. You see what I'm saying? It happened. You can come from nothing and become, okay? So the merger of equals, whether on the top of the food chain or the bottom, right? You're going to have men at the bottom who are always going to be shooting for the top, right? They're going to want something better, bigger booty, bigger breasts. Most of the time, men don't care about your money, but sometimes they do. I mentioned a YouTuber when we first started, right? Typically, you're going to see a guy at the bottom try to reach for a girl who is on the way up, and they get reached because it's like, boy, you live with your mother, you don't have a car, you don't have a job, you don't da da da, ba 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 ba. And you see this line right here, rejected, because sis is working hard. Sis was either born here or climbed here. She doesn't want to get weighted back down by somebody who is like behind. Is that fair to say, ladies? Okay. All right. Is that fair? Okay. But and so the pink is women, right? But women who are not top earners, if you are beautiful, if you have something going for you that this man is attracted to, girl, you can get sex. You may or may not, he might not wife you up, but he might. In the case of Kim Zolciak, girl, she may not have been in the bottom 40, but she was at a place where homie was on the rise and he decided to be with her because he got her pregnant. Okay. All right. A woman can always get with a guy who is higher on the food chain. The chances of a guy getting with a woman who's higher on the food chain, girl, it's usually a mess, okay? And it's never going to turn out well. Okay? I mean, he's got to have some ambition, he's got to have high potential. To me, this schematic here or this chart doesn't really tell everything because I do think that there's things like potential that come into play because where someone is today doesn't necessarily mean where they will be tomorrow because you know we're not talking about age right now. We're talking about a snapshot in time, right? So we're not talking about age. These people could be any age, okay? That's not a factor on here. We're just talking about men and women, right? Um, Potential is key because what we see on the YouTube streets with the couple that I talked about, that I mentioned, Jeremy and Keisha from the Keisha Kaylee channel, Keisha keeps working. Keisha tries different things. Keisha's mainstay has been YouTube. YouTube as a whole, social media, now venturing into real estate. I think in terms of other things, she's had some side businesses. Jeremy, we don't know what Jeremy does, but the assumption is that he's not working, that he's a paid boyfriend. Um, there are several jobs that she throws out, house flipping, this, that, and the third. We've seen him talk about volunteering with his brother, things of that nature. But I'm going to give another Atlanta example. And I've talked about this one before. So it's Atlanta. It's also Real Housewives. It's Phaedra Parks and Apollo Nida. Phaedra, college girl, two professional parents. Apollo, basically modest, modest, maybe even grew up poor, single mother household, um, prison, dishonesty crimes, fraud, theft, all of those things, but good looking. Okay. Maybe not good looking to you, but good looking to her. She found him sexy, attractive. This woman is exiting law school. This woman is an attorney. This woman has high profile clients. Bobby Brown. She was fellowing under Johnny Cochran. Notable. Okay. She's getting ready to be on The Real Housewives. Okay. Well, not at that time when they got together, but she'd known him for many, many years. At the end of the day, this is a woman who probably never should have been with Apollo. It was probably sex. Okay. He was in that bottom 40 and shot for this range right here. Am I on the right thing? Yes. And he shot for it and it worked out. Also, sis was pregnant. Okay. Remember when she came on Real Housewives, they had just got married and she couldn't remember how pregnant she was. Okay. Sis was, I think, in her 30s and he had just gotten out of prison. Okay. So it was a mess, but he shot his shot. And normally a guy like that, girl, right out of prison with a professional woman, Philip and Hannah, okay, would be rejected. But yeah, sis went ahead. They got married. And look what happened. So she's got two kids. It's over. He's with another woman. And is he with a woman of influence, education, and power? No. He's making the money now. And that Charlene woman that he's with, I don't know what she does, but it looks like she is home up under him. Okay. Her focus is boosting him up. Phaedra was busy working. She's a career woman. She's motivated. She's got lots of potential. Phaedra wants to increase. Okay. Mama Joyce was very concerned about Todd and Candy. Okay. Todd was a working dude. Candy already had money, influence. She wasn't as rich as she is today, but this is something that worked out, right? It worked out because Todd had potential. Candy was in her potential. And what have they done? They have built and increased together. Okay. So a lot of times when people say money doesn't matter, it does. It really does. Because the number one thing why people get divorced is because of money problems, not being able to match up the wants and the needs, not being able to match up ambition, drive, contribution. It becomes a headache. And for women, sometimes, a little bit of that power and influence is what makes you find somebody sexy, whether it's thuggish, ruggish, or it's, corporate, a corporate dude. But at the end of the day, this chart right here, I think is dead on the money. So here we go. So someone asked me about Marjorie Harvey. Let me just pull up a couple of pictures. You guys know who Marjorie Harvey is. She's the very beautiful wife of Mr. Steve Harvey, right? Here we go. This woman, if Steve Harvey was broke tomorrow, Marjorie would be gone. Okay? Mark my words. Say it ain't so. That's what it is. I don't think it's that she does not love him. But she's another one of these women who threw her kids in front of this man, just like Kim Zolciak did. Love my kids, okay? Adopt my almost grown kids, okay? Love my kids. Adopt my kids. Let this ex-husband of hers. He was recently on a interview. Her ex-husband, the one who was in prison, the one who was selling drugs, the one who is over here spilling tea about not dropping dimes on Marjorie Harvey, says that she was just as much into the business as he was, allegedly. And, that she was very well aware of everything that was going on. And when he went to prison, I believe she ended up with his cousin. Okay. Was it his cousin or his brother? She ended up with a very close family member. And then next thing you know, she'd known Steve Harvey, but Steve Harvey wasn't Steve Harvey. Okay. And years later, she got with the very wealthy millionaire, Steve Harvey. Now, does Steve Harvey use her probably just as much as she uses him? Now, I'm not saying these two are not in love, but this is a hypergamy conversation. Okay. His cousin. Thank you, Jay Breezy. In hypergamy, this is a very, this is a seasoned gentleman, okay, of a certain status and money. Being single as a grown man, not having your regular date, your companion, isn't where he is in life. Okay. This isn't a guy who was home raising up children. This is a guy who has always been on his grind and really hit his sweet spot in his late 50s and his 50s, going into his 60s of being a top earner. This is a man who is enjoying life and enjoying being a husband more than he's being a father. All you have to do is search his name and his first set of kids to hear the failures as a father. He's not high value because he's an awesome dad. He's high value because he's got money. Okay. This is a hypergamy conversation, not morals, ethics, and all of those good things, right? Feelings and all of that. We're talking the value. We're talking dating up. Okay. Marrying up. And Marjorie Harvey, what she brought to the table was beauty and the ability to dress him up. He gets dressed up, and I don't mean just the clothes. she's clearly styling him, but he she is an accessory to him. Okay? Marjorie is his eye candy, window candy, okay? An older guy walking around with no wife, it's what's wrong with him? What's his problem? And then you become susceptible to prostitutes, women trying to use you to get pregnant. He's got a woman of a certain age that he knows he's who he's dealing with. He accepted her children, he gave her a title, and it's part of his increase. It's part of his brand. Him being a married guy is part of his brand because what does he do? He sells books. He goes on speaking tours. He goes to mega churches. And guess what he talks about? The failures of a single man, the failures of a broke husband. And now he can talk about all of his successes and wins. You know why? Because he's got eye candy. He's got Miss, who's been married before. These are two players right here. Okay. These are two players that know the game. They know about being married. They know about relationships. They know about love and respect. Marjorie knows what she needs to do. Steve knows what he needs to do. Okay. Steve needs to earn that money and Marjorie needs to stay beautiful. Okay. And that's it. I mean, that's what it is. Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the reason why this relationship broke up, I guarantee you, girl, it was money. He ran out of cash. She ran out of cash. Even if she had cash, girl, she wasn't sticking around. This woman is, you got to have money. And word on the street is she is already with someone. Now, I don't know who it is, but I wasn't surprised to hear that because I was already thinking that. Like a woman, this is a woman who kept a man, whether he was married or not. Okay. She became a married woman, so she upped her value. She became not a side chick anymore. She became a wife and was legitimized by a title. But sis, girl, now that Kim's getting a divorce and it's messy, what are the blogs? What are the paparazzi sites talking about? Kim was attached to a man named Big Papa. Okay. They're talking about it. Okay. Oh, they're talking about it. They're not smearing her name. They're talking the truth. Okay. And the truth is, sis was attached to a man who was married. And there we have it, right? Kim was able to use hypergamy. She married up and people forgot about it. Marjorie Harvey, she was attached to a drug kingpin. She was married to cousins and she married a wealthy man of a certain standing. And guess what? People forget about it. Okay. She didn't want her ex-husband sitting and rotting in prison because that's not a good look for her because guess what? Steve Harvey's ex-wife has a drug kingpin ex-husband sitting in prison. So she's got a sus baby daddy, but people forget about that because the kids are named Harvey. But homie keeps talking. It makes me wonder why they even fished him out of prison. Because if it were not for Steve's power and influence, how did he get a presidential pardon? How was he excused? How did he get out of jail? How did he get out of prison? Okay. Power, money, influence, hypergamy. Okay. Um, okay. Let's talk about one more. We could talk about hypergamy and the Real Housewives all day. But let me pull this up for you. I want to show you another case of hypergamy. And this is something happened last night to a couple that we all know. Let's check this out.
Thank you for being here. This is your News 4 Now update. I'm Kay Ingram. And we're following breaking news right here in Manhattan. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan say they were involved in what their spokesperson describes as a near catastrophic car chase with the paparazzi last night. Now, the couple had just attended an award ceremony. The spokesperson says that the chase lasted over 2 hours and they nearly crashed with other drivers, pedestrians, and 2 NYPD officers. 2 law enforcement sources tell News 4 they were leaving the Ziegfeld Theater and had private security with them. They wanted to go back to where they were staying on the Upper East Side in an effort to ditch the paparazzi. At least 1 NYPD car was escorting them. They were driven across 57th Street, up and down the FDR Drive and other streets. Then they drove to the 19th precinct to get into another car to ditch the paparazzi. Officials confirm it was a chaotic scene, but not a chase. Mayor Eric Adams just spoke about what he learned.
It's clear that.
Okay, we'll listen to the rest of this in just a second, but let's talk about this real quick. Meghan Markle, beautiful woman, actress, mid-range. I mean, she wasn't like at the highest. She was on like some Netflix. She's doing quite well for herself, right? And we've got Prince Harry. If this isn't hypergamy, I don't know what is. Okay, sis went from, I'm not going to say the bottom, but that does have something to do with her lasting power in his home country. Okay, not only is she not aristocratic royal, she is biracial. Okay, and whatever your assumptions are about the monarchy and people of a mixed race, specifically African diaspora, girl, Meghan Markle said it was a problem. Okay. Which is why her and Harry are living in California today. But this woman went from single mom with a dad who ditched her, and I don't know if you've ever seen her father, but this woman went from a certain place, a beautiful woman, with her mom, an equally beautiful woman, well educated, and actress. So that put her in a little bit of kind of an influential kind of situation, in the midst where she is in places where a available bachelor prince is operating. And because she was in the midst, well, guess what happened? She caught his eye, or he caught her eye. They caught each other's eyes, and married 2 kids later. Because he loves her, all of these other things. He's abdicated his line of succession. But in any case, that is some hypergamy. Okay. Let's go back to listening. I do kind of call bullshit on this story. I mean, I hate to say it. I'm sure this obviously happened, but 2 hours running around New York, New York City, that is. I don't understand how you're in a high speed chase around Manhattan 2 hours. I don't, unless there was awful traffic. And is that a high speed chase? They probably would have done good just jumping out the cab or whatever, or jumping out of their cars, or maybe trying to be a little less glitzy and noticeable, leaving the theater to where the paparazzi wouldn't be following them. I don't really know how to make a exit as a former royal, but apparently they don't either, because it was a problem. But let's hear the mayor talk about it.
That the the press, paparazzis, they want to get the right shot, they want to get the right story. But public safety must always be at the forefront. The briefing I received, 2 of our officers could have been injured. New York City is different from a small town somewhere. You shouldn't be speeding anywhere, but this is a densely populated city. And I think all of us, I don't think there's many of us who don't recall how his mom died, and it would be horrific to lose an innocent bystander during a chase like this, and something.
Okay, so I'm going to drop the link to this if you guys are interested in this story at all. Let me drop the link to this. So, Pineapples, you're saying that there's some report out here that Kim is worth $10 million. If Kim is worth $10 million, I don't understand why she let why her houses were even approaching foreclosure. But quite possibly, maybe, if that is true and she's got money and he doesn't, again, she's got money and he doesn't, and she's not willing to foot the bill for the family and the relationship. She wants a man who is going to have the funds to be able to manage his complete and total household. That would be the assumption to me. Okay. Because apparently, and Croy is asking for alimony. She's asking for alimony, um, child support. They're both asking for alimony and child support. And I'm sure there'll be some forensic calculations of what each other have. But if she has socked away $10 million and we know about it, girl, Croy is getting ready to get some of it, because I guarantee you she didn't have $10 million 11 years ago. And depending on community property in the state of Georgia, girl, if she has 10, girl, let me tell you something. If I was in her situation, girl, nobody would know I had $10 million. They certainly wouldn't be talking about it on a live stream on some little random blog. Okay. Um, that's ridiculous. But hopefully, I mean, girl, if she's got some money, good for her. Good for her. And hold on to it, because your husband's getting ready to come and get it. Okay. Anyway, I just found it very interesting. I think hypergamy is something to really look at. People are, and in the case of a woman who has more and maybe with a guy who has less, there's other reasons. I mean, women want to have children. Women want a nice looking man. Women want good company. Also, there's the thing of potential. There's a lot that comes with hypergamy. Everyone is not just marrying for money, power, influence. I wouldn't say marry for potential, but if the potential is being realized and the you two are on similar footing, I mean, someone could have potential all day, but if the potential is never realized, it's a waste of fucking time. Okay. But let's see what you guys are saying. Okay. So they both used each other. So that's Steve Harvey. The ditching story has been the ditching story has been alleged to be untrue. The ditching. Tell me about the ditching what? Casey, ditching what? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Um, that she's ditching him, or I'll let you answer that back, Casey, if you could let us know like specifically what you're referring to. Um, let's see. Okay, so the husband is saying it wasn't Steve that got him out. So, and who is he saying got him out? Didn't Steve and Marjorie have some role in his release from prison? I don't know. So let's say this, there's been some allegations that it was Marjorie and Steve's influence that helped him get out of prison. Now, if it was some parole, good behavior, this, that, and the third, good for him. Him doing interviews about what his ex-wife was doing and when probably isn't going to gain him any favor at all. But, he's doing a lot of talking. I think he is, there is a book and I guess more secrets to come out. So we will find out more about it. Like I said, there was a sis who wanted to do some conversation about Marjorie Harvey. So definitely there's more for me to research on the topic. Let's see, Kim is still worth exactly. So we definitely can talk about that. I need to do some more research on her ex-husband and all of that to have all of the talking points that revolve around his release, what he's saying. And I know the Tasha K interview was pretty long. I got into some of it. I didn't watch the whole entire thing, but maybe that's something, we can react to some of it. Coming up very soon. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about hypergamy because we see this all the time. We see kind of relationship mismatches, what seem to be kind of marriages of equals or relationships of equals and things like that. And I mean, whether consciously or subconsciously, there's so much that is involved in relationships and things that you should think about. I mean, of course, we all want to marry for love. And in most cases, I think most people do, but you can't ignore what people call the red flags. And a red flag is if your desire is to not carry a household, then you need to make sure that you are dating and subsequently marrying someone who has the potential to carry a household, someone who is ready to manage a household and make the money to manage his children, his wife, purchase a home, and all of those things. There is no point in dating or being or, dating a man, engaging with a man who is not going to be able to fulfill that need. If you want to be a housewife, if you want to be a mother, um, marrying a man or engaging with a man who says he does not want kids, making him your husband is not going to magically make him want to have kids. It's just not. And so there, there's lots and lots of red flags that women and men ignore equally. Okay. So it's not so much about the women versus the men, but specifically, I am a woman. I'm talking to an audience mostly of women. So I'm telling you, it's a waste of time to sit and try to make lemonade. And it's better to sit on the sidelines, comfortable and happy and enjoying life until that someone appears who has the least amount of red flags possible. Okay. Pretty much everything is all green and ready to go. Nobody is perfect. But at the end of the day, there's just some non negotiables. And some of the non negotiables would be the ability to be able to financially manage a household, manage themselves, low to no potential. Someone who's very lazy, someone who's addicted to drugs and alcohol should not be someone that any woman of any type of means is considering for a husband. If you're with a man who has an addiction to drugs and alcohol and you are a hardworking woman on the trajectory of up, um, dump him. That shouldn't even be anybody that you're considering. And understand, if you are on drugs and addicted to alcohol, understand he will come through and beat your brakes off every other night, but he's never going to take you home for Thanksgiving and he's not going to wife you up. Okay? Um Oh, that he did not ditch her? You're referring to Meghan Markle's, so her mother was a single mother, right? So was that all just for the internet? My dad ditched my mother, or they were divorced. She opted to not talk to him. They severed relationships. It seemed like before, I mean, he wasn't at her wedding. So obviously there was some sort of strained relationship. But however the mother and the father separated, whether, good or bad circumstances, apparently Megan didn't seem to have much of a relationship with her father, excuse me, when she got married. So that kind of is a testament to that. So I can't really comment on Meghan Markle's relationship with her father. But hopefully her relationship with Harry will thrive, because honestly, as far as Meghan and Harry are concerned, Harry to me appears to have given up a lot to be with Megan. I think he loves her very much, and I hope that they make it and that they're very happy and all of those things, because that man's given up a lot. Girl, Fallon is girl. She's not. If you don't have a certain, well, look, I don't even want to say that, because I think the guy she's with now, Fallon also practiced hypergamy. Her latest victim, Jalen, had a net worth of 10 million and comes from a rich family. I think she may be difficult because she has about 4 baby daddies. Well, let's go to beautiful. Okay. Let's go to she's beautiful physically. She's got, nice shape. This is what men think about: beauty, body. I'm not going to say booty, some. Um, she might have a little bit of coin because she's probably collected some coin over time from her alimony, her settlements, her child support, all of those things, and then her modeling. look, that's the way it is, guys. I mean, if he's with her, she had a baby with that guy, he's in. Whether he's going to marry her or not, that's remains to be seen. But as far as popping a baby in her, that's already been done, right? I guess Simon got away with no baby, right? He sold her story to the tabloids. That's what messed up the relationship. He sold her story to the tabloids. That's what messed up their relationship. Are you talking about Fallon and her boyfriend, or who are you talking about? Oh, Megan and her dad. Got it. Okay. Simon had more money, but 10 million definitely isn't broke. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right, Fran. She is worth about 2.5. Yeah, this is how it was. Girl, this is a whole nother. This is not, I don't want to speak for everybody, but this is not us, right? Um, us regular folk, like somewhere to the middle. This is how it should work to a certain degree. And as mothers, as fathers, we've always said this, and I'm not trying to pick on any one person, but there is a particular mom who I'm going to just, to your point, pineapples, Fallon with the 4 baby daddies, right? 4 kids, 4 daddies, maybe, I don't know. Um, at the end of the day, the bottom line is, a lot of men don't want to have to deal with a bunch of men coming through to pick up kids on holidays. A lot of people, and that might sound trivial, but that's a big deal. Look at what's going on right now with Liv's life and her trifling ass, okay? Right now, holidays, I feel bad for Antonisha from the standpoint of getting ready to be a newlywed and you have no fucking peace. You got a crazy ass off the chain on social media, slorish ass female in the midst, someone maybe that you wouldn't even deal with, but that is the former wife of your man who you're getting ready to marry. And every time there's a damn holiday, you got to deal with this woman. Summers, you got to deal with this woman, or you got to deal with your husband dealing with this woman. That's a pain in the ass. Any of you out here who are in relationships with men who've got bitter baby mamas or weirdo baby mamas or trifling ass baby mamas, needy ass baby mamas, it's a problem. If you are dealing with a dude who you've got a kid with and he's a problem, you know what not to bring to your husband because that's going to piss him off, right? I mean, I'm very grateful that that's not something that we have to deal with here, but I know that that's real for a lot of people. And a man of a certain status, unless he really, really, really loves you, you knock his socks off. Some men just don't even want to deal with that. They don't even want to deal with the notion of having to deal with that in their future. They might deal with that while they date you, but they're not necessarily looking to deal with that for life. Okay? For life. Okay? Um I would like to talk too. We won't do it today, but I want to talk about Gabrielle Union talking about her and her husband split things 50-50. I was kind of a little bit shocked because Dwayne Wade seems to have a net worth of 4 times what they say Gabrielle Union's is, and why she is splitting bills with him 50-50. I have no idea. Whatever he has to pay the former Mrs. Wade in money or anything, I don't know, but I don't understand. I don't understand. They way overshare. I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I don't even believe it. I'm not sure. You don't have to tell people everything for people to love you, follow you, be interested in you. Um, people want to know about what's important. And if your finances are important, I would have thought it would be more interesting, more relevant. Even though this was an interview, if Gabrielle Union was introducing something like in collaboration, some type of a course, some type of a book, talking about marrying a little bit later as a professional woman, as a woman of a certain age, because she was in her 40s when she got married to this man, and or I think in her 40s, yeah. And she why you're with a wealthy man, why are you not saying that she shouldn't contribute, but I'm curious when all the what I mean, like they have one kid, and she's out here talking about they split like it was random. It was random to me. I don't see J Lo sitting down talking about her and Ben Affleck's finances, and J Lo ever uttering that she pays 50 of anything, whether J Lo pays all her bills or not. um I doubt it. I'm sure Ben Affleck handles business just like we know Puffy. We talked about a couple of weeks ago, at the Met Gala and Carisha and all of that. I think she gets some sort of monthly allowance. She used to get 500,000, then it went to 200,000. I don't know what it is today, but it's like, girl, we didn't have to know all of that, but now that we do, like, girl, what's the tea? You got me curious now. You know what I'm saying? Gabrielle Union, I really want her to do some sort of a follow up and explanation on, sis, really? Really, why? Why are you paying 50% of the bills? Okay, Casey, that doesn't even make any sense to me. Um, I don't know. Gabrielle Union, look, okay, this is my opinion. I think Gabrielle Union, this is my opinion and assumption. Um, I think Gabrielle Union operates very much in her masculine energy. She's very beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. Um, she's been in many, many, many relationships. Um, I think she operates in a little bit of masculine energy. I believe that I don't know what she's got over Dwayne Wade as far as, handling the shit out of him in the bedroom. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure why she thinks she needs to contribute 50-50 with her man when you're the mother of one of his children. It doesn't make sense to me. I will. Okay. So yeah, I heard the soundbite like everyone, and it gave me pause. I was like, really? This is strange. So yes. Okay. So let's do this. Next time we regroup, I would love to talk Gabrielle Union. I would love to talk Marjorie Harvey. So everybody do your homework. I'm going to find the complete interviews, share them on my community wall. And then maybe we can run through them depending on how long they are, and or to the parts that kind of hit the media, and then we can further discuss them after we've had a chance to really look at them. So I'll share the interviews, you guys watch, I'll watch, then we'll come back and talk about, like, okay, really, is this how it's going? But she does strike me a little bit masculine energy facing, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially if Dwayne Wade likes a very commanding woman who kind of is like, she got it. To me, I'm going to be honest. It's not that I'm lazy or anything like that. I don't want to work that hard, and I don't want to do my husband's job. I married a man for a reason, because I want my husband to be the leader, the captain, the decision maker, all of those things. I make decisions about what I need to make decisions about. And at the end of the day, I know that I am aligned with my husband, so I don't really make decisions that I think that he would have a problem with. And if I think I need to go to him to have a conversation about something, that's what's going to be done. Um, like I said, I don't, and I make a lot of decisions throughout the day, um, on my own. But at the end of the day, I know that we are aligned. And if I knew, this is probably something my husband wouldn't like, well, then I already know that I either need to talk to him about it, or it's probably just not something we should do, right? That might be a we thing. Um, but if it's more of a me thing and I'm operating in me, then I'm also not operating in the spirit of marriage, because marriage is very much a we, not a me. So if I'm making a decision on something that is not aligned with the we, then that's something I need to consider, whether it's a large financial purchase that I feel like he might want to know about. Like if I'm going out to buy a car, if I'm going out to buy a purse, that's my business. Of course, I would share it with him, but as far as buying a car, that would be different, right? Buying an outfit is a no-brainer. That's not even something I would think about. But an expensive handbag, is this the right thing to do at this time? Whatever. A car, or hey, I would love to buy that rental property over there. You know what I mean? Like, Gabrielle Union to me just strikes me as someone who's a little bit more masculine in her energy with her husband. I don't know. I could be wrong. You think so, pineapples? Pineapples, you and I are very much on the same wavelength. In her marriage, I seen something saying that she paid all the bills, girl. Okay. Anywho, guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. I got to get on my mom tings. It's 2:30. Guys, you guys are awesome. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate all of the likes and all of you in attendance. You guys are awesome. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please feel free to do so. If you enjoyed this, if you like conversations like this, and I didn't drop the invite button, the call in. Next time, please remind me to do that. And I would love to hear from you guys. I know for a lot of you, you're listening to this during the workday, so I get it. Make sure to comment down below, chime in. But if you are available to chime in real time, always, go ahead and hit that button. Or if you want to, chime in and come on the panel, you are more than welcome to do so. Just remind me if I haven't done it. But anyway, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful day. This was so much fun. So I owe you guys Gabrielle Union, Marjorie Harvey, and we are going to get caught up on Real Housewives. You guys know I love, love, love to talk Real Housewives. I think that there's so much there above and beyond the storylines. I did get Peacock for that reason, and y'all, I am way behind. I need to just go ahead and make myself a good little snack tonight and just turn on and let it rip, and get all the way caught up so we can talk about what's going on. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great afternoon. I will see you guys next time. And that's it for now. Okay, guys. See you later. Take care.